Philip, tell the people we're watching right now.
This is the Rewind.
TexAgs Rewind.
TexAgs Rewind.
Presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I've got the fan show guys with us, Philip, Roy, and Mateo, better known as Matt. Favorite part of the show?
Jay Bilas. I like Jay Bilas. Jay Bilas, the guy pulls no punches. He's straightforward, and he'll tell you what he sees. And from to be a national guy, where he can focus on individual teams is pretty impressive.
Either one.
Go ahead.
McGee and Olin crack me up. They do a good job whenever they get in there.
They're great. Roy?
You know what? I'm going to say I don't think
you didn't listen.
I really liked Bilas.
Bilas, okay, you can double up.
I was going to say fan show.
He didn't get to say Aaron Torres today.
That's right. He was like, who else do I say? Kaylee, I'm going to let you be the tiebreaker. What was your favorite part of the program?
The fan show.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
about.
I think one of the great things about bringing Bilas on is we just don't get, that's just not a regular segment. So it's a great job getting him on.
Well, you know what? Nick Savage gets the credit on that one. He reached out to Jay. I was like, whatever. Can't get him. He's too big of a name. And Nick's like, I got him.
Nick's I got him.
My man.
It's the Logan.
Logan Lee.
Everybody failed.
Yeah.
Okay. Logan Lee was my favorite part.
Our
of the
boy
program.
Logan.
We went 26 minutes in a 17-minute segment. That's how good he was.
Logan knows the stuff.
Brian Broadcasting is probably finding me as we speak for going so long. Mm-hmm. Let's rewind. Check it.
I think the Aggies are just used to quarterback inconsistency over the past couple of years, so they automatically think the backup quarterback could be better than QB1.
So the reason this is, we had a text earlier about Miles O'Neill potentially next year. Marcel Reed was really good last year, especially from what I thought he was coming into the season.
Considering the situation and all things, yes.
And the receivers, and I mean, let's also consider, what is he, 19 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, he's very, very young and very raw. Does he have to get a lot better for us to be a contender? Absolutely. I think we've all agreed on that. But I don't think there's a quarterback controversy going into the offseason either. I think that they've got to get him some more weapons offensively and put him in a position where this offense really fits his skill set. And, next year's going to be a big year for him, though. It's going to be a show-me year, right? I mean, as any football year, and especially in the world of NIL, and you're paying these guys lots of money. It's like the NFL. It's a microcosm, and there's a lot less patience. I mean, there's a lot less patience from the coaching position as well. I mean, if you're doling out $10 million plus a year, you expect to win, and so it really trickles down from the top. But at the quarterback position, I think we all agree you had to have one, right?
Yeah, you do. And it's funny how it's not everybody, but there's always a faction that always is pushing for the backup quarterback, no matter what. I mean, you remember when everybody's talking about get that guy McGee out of there?
Well, they were mainly pushing for Gerard and Tannehill, which they were correct. Let's be honest. That was the right decision.
That Reggie McNeil, man.
The backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on campus, and that's just human nature.
Do you remember the crowd, how and the players too, when it changed in the LSU game when Marcel came out there on that second drive? There was a bolt of lightning in the stadium.
There was a bolt of lightning in that Florida stadium. These highlights we're watching right now. I remember I was there, and that's a tough environment. He went in there and quieted that crowd quick.
Was that his first start?
I think it was.
Yeah, his first start.
And on the road, that was that to me really. That was a huge game. I don't think he gets much.
Made plays off schedule.
And
that's what you have to have. And I know you and I have always kind of debated about running quarterbacks and things like that. But I think you're starting to come around.
I am.
And you were a runner.
Yeah.
Based on the 1-1 week on the road, coming back and winning, and now having to go to South Carolina. Nick, if you can put the schedule graphic up so we can kind of just get a feel for it.
Look at that. He's so quick. He's on it.
He's Johnny on the spot.
Good job, Nick.
Nicky on the spot.
What are we looking at?
Well, we got on the road in South Carolina, at number 20, Missouri, Georgia, Arkansas, before the gauntlet restarts. And by the way, I'm not saying these are easy, right? But I'm just saying you've got to do really well in this stretch.
I didn't realize that the last 5 games looked like that.
Yeah.
So you have at 14, Mississippi State, number 8, Tennessee, number 24, Vanderbilt, at number 5, Florida, number 1, Auburn.
And they do you a favor by going to LSU. And then, by the way, you'll probably play one of those teams again, at least, in the SEC tournament at some point.
Yeah, that's tough. That is... So
you better get your wins now. I'm not saying you're not going to win some of those games. But these are...
This is the standings?
Yeah.
A&M is 6 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Could be 5 but they lost the tiebreaker to Ole Miss. How did they do that?
No, they beat Ole Miss.
That's what I'm saying. How do they? Why would it
I
be
don't know.
there?
Alphabetical? I don't know. Nick, what's your reasoning? You're fired. Just kidding. I love you. I don't think he's
Nick,
listening.
your graphic's wrong.
No, it's not wrong. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's alphabetical. But yeah, man, it's this stretch right now. You got to get it done.
I mean, this is just preparing them for March. You have to play those
It's
teams.
preparing them for an Elite Eight every week.
Yeah,
in March.
you're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to play those teams at the end of the season if you want to win.
Look,
that's what it has to be.
March will be easier than that. I'm serious. Like, what was it? 7, 11, 14? Like
5-1.
In March, you're probably a 4 or 5 seed at this point, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have easier games than that until you get, hopefully, to an Elite Eight.
That's the goal. Well, the goal's more than that, but
It is a goal. It's a goal on the journey.
Man, and they can do it. They just we'll see.
Jay, let's talk about the SEC overall. I forget your exact quote, but basically the SEC tournament, A&M is going to play all these great teams still yet to go. Like the end of their season is against a firing squad of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what it feels like. Just talk about the depth of this SEC and how hard it is just to come away with a winning record, much less win the SEC as a conference.
Yeah, honestly, I've never seen anything like it. So, numbers don't always tell the story, but the SEC non-conference record was the last time there was a non-conference record by the league that strong was in the mid-'80s in the ACC. But it's not particularly comparable because the ACC had 8 teams back then. So did the Big 8, and all that's a Big 10 had. Can you imagine the Big 10 had only 10 teams back then? But, this is a 16-team league. So you would expect with that many teams, you would have more teams that wouldn't be as good. But it's a remarkable conference, and especially relative to the rest of the country. Like what the SEC did to the ACC in that ACC-SEC challenge, 14-2, that's unimaginable. It's an incredible number for the 16 games played, and in the 14 wins, the average margin of victory is 16 points. In the 2 losses that the SEC had, which just happened to be, Auburn lost to Duke and Kentucky lost to Clemson at Clemson, both those were away games. The average margin of loss was 3 points. And so you're talking about a dominant league. And, I think what I mentioned the other day at a Birmingham radio station was that, I think it's going to be a tougher challenge to win the SEC tournament championship than it would be to win in the NCAA tournament. It's not. I think when people hear that, if they're not SEC fans, they think, "Oh, you just said everybody else sucked." Like, no, I didn't. But if you think about it, an early round game in the SEC tournament you're going to go against a better opponent than you would in an early round game in the NCAA tournament. And so winning that, and especially in that amount of time, is an incredible gauntlet. It doesn't mean that the Elite 8 in the NCAA tournament is going to be 8 SEC teams. Nobody's suggesting anything like that. But because everybody can certainly lose in a one-and-out scenario, because Houston's really good and Iowa State's really good, Duke's really good. There are a bunch of teams that are really good. But no other conference matches what the SEC has to go through. It'll just be interesting to see if some of the teams are beat up at the end of this or maybe lack a little bit of confidence, or whether they take strength from it. And when they get against another opponent that they haven't seen before, they feel like they have an advantage. That'll be sort of an interesting thing league-wide to see how that shakes out.
So starting off with what I love about this basketball team.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. The emergence of Hayden Hefner has been one of my favorite things to watch.
It's a great storyline, isn't it?
It's a great storyline. He was, he's just kind of been a bit of a role player, and he was your 3-point specialist. And so when he came in the game, everybody knew he was getting the ball. Everybody knew he was going to throw it up. And so when he was missing, it felt like he didn't really bring anything to the team. And to see him morph into a defender, and a stout defender at that, and an aggressive rebounder, not to mention, it seems like his ball handling's gotten better this year, just across the board, and the role that he plays and the importance that brings to the team. You know, when we can take pressure off Wade Taylor to win everything all the time, and guys like Hefner doing what they're doing on both ends of the court, it's been a really fun story kind of arc, really, because we've watched his career.
I've got to pause and read a text message. Actually, Kaylee, can you read us a text message if you don't mind? This is from David in Houston. Your face is like, because you know how my brain works. You're like, here we go.
The last one.
Yep, the last one.
He said, "Good dude narrative is nonsense. Excuse making to try and justify real shortcomings that have been here since Buzz took over and seemingly won't be resolved."
Let me tackle this from the beginning, if you don't mind, guys.
Okay.
Okay. Excuse for making to try to justify real shortcomings.
It's not an excuse, by the way. Two things can be right and wrong at the same time. So they are good dudes. Yes, they have shortcomings. No one said they didn't. So there's no excuse making. But the men that this team, the guys that are on this team, they all seem like good dudes, and they are something to be
Actually,
proud
I don't
of.
think I could have said it better. Good job.
Yeah, there is something to be proud of with these guys, even though they have shortcomings. We're not saying they don't.
I like this team because they have good guys that wins.
Yes, and they fight and they play hard.
If this team was a 9-win team, okay, they're nice. Like, my neighbor's nice, but I don't want him to run my business, right? Like, he's a really nice guy, but I like that they're good guys, and I like that they win basketball games.
It's a good combo.
And by the way, nobody here has not talked about their shortcomings.
No.
I get demolished for bringing up, oh, David, you talk about the free throws and the shooting from the three, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I talk about it because it is a shortcoming, David.
Yeah.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah, good name. But
Fantastic.
We're not up here making excuses.
All right, who should do the close? All right, Dryer,
Oh, boy. On the spot.
do it.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Hey, guys, anybody gone to a rave party recently?
A what?
Rave party?
Rave?
Haven't made it.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Ever?
Never.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm gonna go never.
See you next time.